Today we're going to talk about the third trig function that we need to memorize in geometry class, and that's called tangent. Tangent of an angle is equal to the ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent side. Remember, opposite and adjacent are always the legs of a right triangle. Opposite being opposite the angle we're using. So if we're working with angle A, opposite that will be straight across. Adjacent is the leg that's next to the angle that we're using. Remember, hypotenuse is the side across from the right angle, and that will never be used when we're dealing with tangent. So our formula for tangent is tangent of the angle equals opposite over adjacent. Now we're going to find some angle measures using tangent. Hopefully this is something that's becoming familiar to you. This is our third trig function. We've already covered sine and cosine. So when we use tangent to find angle measure, we're going to choose to use tangent when we have the opposite and the adjacent, which we have in both of these diagrams, opposite and adjacent. In part A, I've labeled 8 as opposite and 11 as adjacent. So I'm going to use the tangent function. Tangent of the angle equals opposite over adjacent. Substitute in and get tangent of the angle equals 8 over 11. Solve for the angle measure by taking the inverse tangent of each side. To get to the inverse tangent in my calculator, I press second tangent, but I have to make sure that my calculator is in degree mode. When I take the inverse tangent of each side, I find that the measure of angle A is equal to some long decimal. The directions tell me to round to the nearest hundredth, so I'm going to write 36.03 degrees. In part B, again, I have opposite and adjacent, so I use the tangent function. Tangent of the angle equals opposite over adjacent. So tangent of A equals 7.2 the opposite over 13.9 the adjacent. To solve this, I would take the inverse tangent on each side, which I didn't show, so I'll write that down. Inverse tangent. When we take the inverse tangent, we always do so by writing it on the left side of each side of the equation. So I end up with the measure of angle A equals 27.38 degrees. Remember, that's rounded to the nearest hundredth. Good luck.